Welcome, everybody. I'm the Crypto Lifer, Sam Price. I've been trading for 15 years, and every single Friday, I want to give you a macro outlook of what's happening with Bitcoin, the NQ, S&P, and the DXY, and some other instruments as well. Let's talk about it. Right now, I want to talk about Bitcoin in a descending triangle. Descending triangles break to the downside 68% of the time, mainly, rounding up. Most of the time, you're going to see these dump. And lately, almost like the last 7 descending triangles I found on multiple time frames have all dropped to the downside. This would give us a target, all right, of about 20,094, 20,000, or, 20,300. That's the area that we could be falling to the downside. We also have some resistance here. We might actually just stop right there at the resistance, but somewhere in the vicinity of 20,005, 20,000, between 20,003 and 20,800, when we start getting there, we'll see better. But that is looking like an area that we may encounter. This could be a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. Could Bitcoin be taking a drop to the downside? It very well may be. When we flip on the moving average, you can see we got rejected by the 200 SMA. Had we flipped that, we would have remained bullish. That is like the key to a bull market. When you get through the 200 SMA, we couldn't get through it. That is a struggle. When we go into the 3-day chart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this now because it's somewhat different of a chart. And we still, on the 3-day, we could almost say, hey, are we trying to make some type of symmetrical triangle, getting tighter in the zone? Price action is above the 200 SMA. So that's the switch side. If the 3-day can stay above the 200 SMA, there's a chance we can flip it on the weekly and actually get a move to the upside. So here's a chance. Previous resistance becomes support. And let me just talk about why this area is so interesting. When I remove the moving averages and I look at this, if you were watching my channel and you were in my trading group, I was able to call a reversal here at what is the 786 Fibonacci retracement, all right? Also, there's a golden there's a golden pocket right above that, which we're in, and that's a point of control. I'm going to pull the Fibonacci here from this wick, right? And you can see that when we wick down, came back up, we hit the 786, and then we would bounce. We've been along ever since then. I've scalp traded a few times, already sold pretty close into these wicks, and even now I'm in a small long just to see where it goes. Nothing too crazy. But there's a chance here that Bitcoin starts its way to the upside. There's a chance that this is the trend line that we're holding, 1, 2, 3, and it's not this trend line like I was looking at earlier, like a rising wedge that broke down. Why is that? Well, this was a violent move to the downside. It came back inside. That usually is, a violent capitulation, and that means that it probably did ruin the trend line. So this trend line, 1, 2, 3, is still holding. There's a chance we get a move further to the upside. And this is like the Hail Mary pattern. Like if something, we could be making something like this, okay? Somewhat of a descending triangle, right? So I'm going to get rid of this for now. An ascending triangle. We get rid of it for now. And I just want you to look at this idea here, okay? Bitcoin could be making somewhat of a bigger ascending triangle here, like with these patterns, that it eventually starts to, fill out. Could also be making a smaller ascending triangle down here that it's going to fill out. So this is like the hopeful path for Bitcoin. If it can kind of start to make a move back to the upside and grind on up, this would be a very, very interesting sign that we could get this move. 618 Fibonacci level right there. We get the bounce. We're in a golden pocket right now. After bouncing off the 786, it tells you we could get a big bounce to the upside. One other thing that's interesting is the 8-hour. When I look at the 8-hour with the divergence on the RSI swinging to the downside, while price action swinging to the upside, that's a known hidden bullish divergence. It's when you have an uptrend, and it tells you that the trend will continue to the upside. So this tells me that this trend will continue to the upside, and Bitcoin actually will break through this high. So I just want to put this out here on a macro idea that Bitcoin is looking interesting at basically in the golden pocket. Let's look at the total market cap. Same thing, the descending triangle. However, we've been holding 1.02 trillion. If we don't go any lower, we could get the bounce. This is basically a very similar idea that I'm showing you for Bitcoin. And back to that 8-hour time frame, we have the hidden bullish divergence here, and we should be getting the bounce to the upside. I expect us to start to climb. We will get a bit of resistance at 1.05, but you can see right now with this pump for Bitcoin, things getting very, very interesting. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. The NQ. I have the NQ coming into this golden pocket 786 retracement. I see it either going sideways or further down and then getting a massive move to the upside. They are going to continue to print money. I don't see this recession they're talking about. I see prices continuing to rise as they continue to print money. That's what I see happening here. My basically target for the NQ is 19,592, and that is very, very interesting. I usually do more, but right now I'm going to have to jump out live right now, everyone. please look at these two big assets, see what I'm talking about, and understand that we do have a potential for a bigger move to the upside based on this 8-hour hidden bullish divergence. Shout out to everybody here. God bless each and every one of you for jumping on in. And thank you so much for being a part of the live stream. I greatly, greatly appreciate it.